Hey there. So excited to teach you Super Dice Heroes Saga March. In this month, you need 5 dice, 4 dice that are the same color, and 1 unique die. You also need 2 different types of tokens that you'll move around the board, meeples, favorite tokens, whatever, little minis. These are 2 3D prints. If you have access to a 3D printer, you can print these off. It's our Dice Knight and our Super Kitty. So in this game, what happens is each player, all the players use the same dice roll. And so we'll roll these 5 dice, and you'll write those numbers up here. The unique color die, the pink die here, is the sidekick die. And so you write 1166, and then you'll write that 3 in that kitty cat spot. What you can do with each die is you can either help in the location where you currently are, or you can move to a new location. The way movement works is you spend the die and you move to the zone that it matches. So if I spend a 1, I would move down to the 1 zone. If I spend a 3, I would move to the 3 zone, etc., etc. But the other twist on that is you can spend the die that matches your location, your area, and that lets you move anywhere. So if I'm in the 1 zone and I spend a 1 die, I could go to any one of the 6 locations. You can see there's numbers 1 through 6 here. Helping, the way helping works is you spend a die and you use that in your current location to advance something to try to earn honor. The goal is to try to earn the most points, the most honor at the end of 14 rounds. So you'll be moving around to different locations, helping there, trying to use these dice in the best way possible. You'll spend all those dice and then go on to the next round. So each player gets to choose how they spend those 5 dice. Let's explain to the Super Kitty and the way that works. So this unique die, the Super Kitty, does not have access to these other 4 dice, but can only use this pink die. The same is true for the Dice Knight. The Dice Knight can only use these 4 dice and cannot use this pink die. So with this, with the first turn, the kitty, I can move down to the 3 zone with the teacups. And so really you're up to what this die is, but you do have a superpower, and that's right here. And that lets you increase or decrease a die by 1 for each time you spend a superpower. It doesn't add an extra die, it just changes a current die. And that you can use for both the white dice and the pink die, the unique die. So I could spend that and either increase or decrease this 3. And so that gives you some flexibility of where you want to move to with your Super Kitty or how you spend that die. Well, let's look at each one of the different locations and then jump in and we can start playing. So zone 1 here is the roller coaster. This one you start on the bottom left and you're going to work your way up and down and up and down. You see the different stars you'll be gaining along the way. Those are honor. You'll see there are these little purple square people. Those are bystanders. They're down here. They're worth 3 points each. There are these green circles with a person moving. That's a free move bonus. When you gain that, you mark it down here. And at any point in the rest of the game, you can spend that to get an extra die of any number that's used only for moving. And you can use those bonuses for both the Dice Knight or the Kitty Cat. It's pretty fun. You'll see also there's a fish here. There's 1 fish in each area. If you spend one of the white dice to get the fish, the Dice Knight doing it, then you just come down here and mark an X. Each fish you get is worth 3 points. But if the Kitty Cat uses their die to get a fish, you get 2 X's, so double the points. You get 6 points then, 3 for each fish. So you can kind of coordinate and move your cat around and hopefully try to grab those fish. That's what I'm going to try to do today. As you go along too, you'll notice that there is an orange hand. That's a free help bonus. When you gain that, you come down here and mark it, and then you can spend that at any point in the rest of the game to get a die of any number you want for helping. Very useful. I like to kind of store those up and spend them all on one big turn. You'll notice too in each area there's this little pie spot where there are pie minions. The pie villain is menacing this fair, so you'll see the different areas are themed that way. But in each zone there are pie minions that are messing around. And so in this area, the first one you can put any number, but then the next number you have to put has to be different from previous numbers. And so if you are going to fill the whole thing, you would need 4 different numbers there. As you put a number there, you cross off that pi minion and come down here and mark it. And then here, if you do all 4, then you get a pi. You complete a pi. And that pi is worth 3 points at the end of the game for each one you finish. Also, there's a times 2 multiplier for that at the end of this zone, and a times 2 multiplier for your pi minions defeated if you defeat the pi villain. All right, so let's talk about what each zone does. The roller coaster, you start at the bottom and you work your way up, and then down and up and down. So the first number can be anything. The next number has to be equal to or greater than that number. And that same, it's true for the next few numbers. And then when you hit the top, the next number has to be equal to that number. It's actually pretty hard to do to coordinate just right. And then the next number, as it goes back down, is equal to or less than. So depending on what the direction is, it's either equal to or greater than, equal, or equal to or less than. Let's go to the Ferris wheel. You'll see there's a pi thing here too that you can be putting your dice into. But for this one, you start at the bottom and you work your way around clockwise like you're getting on the Ferris wheel. First number can be any number. The next number has to be plus or minus the previous number. So if I put a 3 there, the next number has to be a 2 or a 4. If you put a 1 there, the next number has to be a 2. If you get to a 6, the next number has to be a 5. They don't wrap around. If you get all the way around the Ferris wheel, you'll see that there's a heart key, and that makes it so all the bystanders that you have rescued are worth a bonus point. There's 2 heart keys around. There's one here in the Ferris wheel. There's one in Balloon Pop. You'll see here also in the teacups, zone 3. There are 4 of these. You can start at any one, continue on from any one onward, but you always start at the top. The first number is anything, and then the numbers that go around can be anything. So it's actually pretty easy to finish the teacups, but the twist on it is if the sum of those 4 numbers for that teacup, if it's less than or equal to 9, then you rescue the bystander that's in it. It's like been spinning around, so you spun it not too fast, so you rescue the bystander. Cool? Strength tester. This one is a little different. You start at the bottom left and you're going to just follow along the path, but whatever the number is you put in to help, that's how many X's you mark. And so if you put a 4 in, you would mark 4 X's. So the higher number, the better. So 6 really can go the distance. It's really pitiful to put a 1 or a 2 in here because you really don't go very far along. And then you get the bonuses as you go along. Balloon pop. This one, it's like you're throwing darts at balloons like the carnival game. And so you can X any one of these numbers that matches. So if I spend a 1, I could X off any one of these ones. You don't have to go in any order. But as you finish rows and columns, you get bystanders and honor, and as you finish diagonally, you get honor or the heart key. Also, the fish is just on this 1, so if you just do that 1, you just get the fish. All right, last one, guessing game. This one is split up really into 2 sections. The first section is over here, which is the guessing game, trying to guess the age or the weight or, that kind of carnival game. You start at the bottom and you work your way up, going back and forth. The number you put here, it has to be the same number as the cat die, the sidekick die for that round. So right now, if this was the roll, I would have to, the only number I could put in there is a 3. So if you get a bunch of 3s, it's awesome because then you can just go right along, or maybe you can manipulate dice to get it. You'll see at the end of that is alien technology. So that's kind of a unique thing. That's worth 10 points. If you can make it all the way to the end of this, there's a lot of points, a lot of payoff. Here's the twist, though, is that your sidekick cannot use their die here because they would be able to use the die every turn because it's always that number, right? So it has to be one of the Dice Knight's dice or the help dice. Pretty interesting. Also, here's the pi villain. This starts at the leftmost spot and works your way across, and this is how you defeat the pi villain. If you'll notice, it's 3.1415 pi. Yes. So you just have to have the number that matches, and you can get that fish there, and you can work your way across. This one, the left side, is what you cannot use your cat die for, your sidekick die for, but the right side you can use your sidekick die for. All right, and that's the whole game. Yes, did we get there? At the end of the round and end of the game, you total up all your points, getting 3 per bystander, plus the 1 for each one of those you have the heart key, 3 per fish, 3 per pie that you did, and then all these little pie minions are worth a point. Check out those multipliers, also your alien tech. Also, any unused but gained bonuses you gained but you did not use, are worth 1 point. And then you also check all your honor that you gained along the way. And that's Super Dice Heroes Saga March. So thanks for playing and good luck. Also, if you want to log your score and impact future missions and also compete for Superhero of the Month, you can log those scores. There are links here. You can QR code and watch that stuff there. So thanks for playing and good luck.